Alright, hello. Welcome back, Open Pagan Church. And I will tell you, Facebook has a hell of a lag going on today. Let's see. Let me get Discord up here. Alright. Discord is unmuted. We are live on Open Pagan Church, and like I say, if you're tuning in, Facebook has a hell of a lag. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing good.
There's Clint. And I will tell you, I've still got a little bit of a cough left over from last week when I was sick. We are doing quite a bit better. Whatever it was, boy, it was nasty. Did not come back to be the flu. Now, I do want to ask you guys, I'm noticing on my playback that everything seems a little out of focus, but it looks good on my end. Clint, looks like you're in channel. What does it look like? Robert, looks like you're out there too. How are we looking on that end?
Looking good on my side.
Yeah, damn Facebook lag.
Yeah, no, it's pretty focused.
Good. So,
Background clear.
That's good. It's just on my end then. So, Facebook lag. Gotta love a Facebook lag. Well, I hope everyone's doing well. Of course, it's major flu season, so hope nobody's getting smacked with it. So, our topic today, and we'll just jump right on in. Our topic is one that we like to cover periodically. Kind of remind some of the newcomers what paganism is. It's not television. Paganism is not witchcraft. Paganism is not druid. Paganism is not shaman, fae, or anything else. Paganism is the core. It is the foundation for which all other pagan traditions are built upon, from witchcraft all the way up to shaman, druid, fae, what have you. The paths that are chosen within paganism are denominations. Well, of course, and like I say, let's jump right on in here. So, if you're paying attention to the news and television and movies and all of this, well, paganism is devil worship. Nope. Paganism has nothing to do with devil worship. We don't even believe in the devil. We do believe in evil, but we don't believe in the devil. Devil, hell, that is Christian spawned philosophy. It is not pagan spawned philosophy. Now, all of the ancients of paganism, as we'll see on a couple of the pages that we pulled up to kind of help you guys reference, for those of you that like to read and read and read and read, they reference some of that paganism at its core is the belief in the philosophy of multiple gods and or goddesses. There are some denominations of paganism. Morning, Jimmy. There are some denominations of paganism that follow strictly goddess worship. There are some denominations of paganism that have strictly masculine deities within their, quote, god worship. But it's still paganism nonetheless, because it's a polytheistic belief system. So where did it all come from? Where did it all start? anything back in the day, back in the Middle Ages, Rome and Greece actually invented the word pagan. Morning, Amy. The word pagan back in the Roman and the Grecian days described the farm dweller, the follower of the old ways. They assumed that pagans were uneducated and untrained. Well, that could not be further from the truth. So when we start talking about the history of pagan, well, I have to say, paganism, the history of paganism, just like all other religions, were at one point full of very warrioristic tribes. They were full of very deadly folk, but that was the times. Well, we hope we don't necessarily live in those times in the time of this video in 2020. However, sadly, we still do in many parts of the world. So, understanding the core of pagan philosophy. Robert said, okay, I'm about to tell you to go share it with a few of my followers. Alright, good morning.
Leah.
Go ahead.
I said, Leah, good morning.
Yeah, morning, Lee.
Since I found out we were doing this subject, I went and found a page, and I'm going to share it, but, everybody can, it's interesting.
Alright, drop it in the, yeah, there you go. Copy and paste it into the chat. And I'm going to flip over to the left monitor. Hopefully my video card won't give me too much crap. Well, it's kind of hard to see, isn't it? Well, anyway, the links for these pages are in the chat area description up in the upper right. If you want to click on them, and if you want to click on them and read along, I have found the web page called Ancient Origins, and
I pasted it there so somebody can click on it.
Yeah, good. I've looked at Ancient Origins on several of their posts. They're a real good source of information if you can get past all the damn advertisements. But I like the first paragraph. I've always liked the first opening paragraph of Ancient Origins, and it reads, "The word paganism has come to refer to various pre-Christian religions belonging to a number of ancient cultures, those from Greece, Rome, Egypt, Scandinavia, and so on. It has come to also represent in some circles the modern ideology of Wicca and the followers of revived versions of old practices." And then it goes on to say, the truth of paganism, blah, 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 that we've already talked about. But when you think about we started, Robert, we started at 9:30. Yeah, that's what time we start, 9:30. But yeah, go ahead, Cindy. Do what?
I thought it was the ancient one.
Yeah. So Pagan simply is a word, much like Christianity, Buddhist. Well, Buddhist isn't a religion. Um, all of the other words of religions out there that just simply has a meaning. Christianity has a meaning, one who follows the Holy Trinity. They follow the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and they find Christ as their Savior. Paganism simply means all followers of polytheistic belief systems. If you believe in more than one god and or goddess, then, well, sorry for your bad luck, because you're pagan. And I will always say this, and I'll take it to my grave with me when I go: Christian pagan is an oxymoron.
Oh boy, is it.
It's kind of like having oil and water. No matter how much you mix it, you still got oil and water. So anyway. So I mean, you guys, what are your thoughts? Okay, my opening is real simple. Paganism has always been. If you think about the definition of pagan, all the way back through before the Middle Ages, clear back into Mesopotamian, and even prior to the Mesopotamian belief systems, they were all, every freaking one of them, polytheistic, until the follower of Imhotep III formed the first monotheistic belief system of the sun god, and everything trickled down from that. So what do you think? What do you guys say?
Well, paganism's from, like you said, goes back way back to BCE. I found it that far back.
All right. Robert says he's lucky enough to only need to call upon one that he believes. He says, I believe in many, but Hecate has dominion over all. And yes, Robert does follow the goddess Hecate.
That's a good one.
The research I've done through the years on Hecate, she's an interesting goddess. Not one that necessarily sung to me, but then again, yeah. So, while everybody's thinking or whatever of something to say, I want to remind everyone that we do simulcast on discordapps.com. So if you have a topic, you want to be heard, you want to be interviewed, you want to have a conversation with us, feel free to click on the never expiring link up in the description of our videos and sign on to Open Pagan Church server and let us know. We want to hear from you.
You got a point.
Come on.
Since modern day neo-pagan, I'm not gonna say we're neo-pagan, since it's been formed as neo-pagan, it's more open in the world, I think.
Well, the thing that, and I found this rather interesting, the way it helps mainstream society deal with us pagans, as it's been said to me, is by using the term New Age religion. New Age religion. Well, there's not a damn thing new about it. And there's more and more people coming over to it, this New Age religion. And then they're finding out when they step into it and actually start getting educated that we've been here for a while, folks. We're not new. Let's see. Robert says, my student told me the other day that Hecate is summoned in a coven ceremony on season 3 of that show.
Yeah, Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I remember that program.
Well, they got the new season out. She's grown up more, and she's a little bit darker than the new season. A couple seasons.
But Hecate's not dark. Now, if you piss her off, well, but that's with all of the gods and goddesses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, hey, that's your TV top pagans, you know. The thing of it is, if they come to us and they start asking questions, or they come to people like Robert and Lee and Cindy and Clint, and, you know, if they come to people that have been in it a bit and they don't mind asking questions and accepting the answers, then they generally turn out to be relatively good people. Of course, I've always told my students, shut up and listen. Robert says, sorry I'm moving slow voice to text. No problem. No problem. I see. I saw Lee post. Here he was. He said I was always led to believe that being pagan was anything that wasn't Christian. But in taking bits and pieces from multiple paths, still considered pagan. Not necessarily following a definitive path.
Is he saying that if you do a definitive path, you're not pagan?
No. There are, where he's coming from is there are a number of websites that say any religion that's not Christian is pagan.
Heard that before.
Yeah, and that is not true at all, because the term pagan by itself means polytheistic philosophies, the belief, you know, like we've said, the belief in the possibility of multiple gods and goddesses. Now,
that's like when I have my students, I teach them paganism, and the picture is the umbrella. Is paganism, anything underneath it is path.
Well, and you know, Lee says, but is taking bits and pieces from multiple paths still considered pagan? Pagan, well, yeah, if you're witch, but you believe in multiple gods and goddesses, that's pagan. If you're shaman, you still believe in multiple gods and goddesses, that's pagan. I've seen a number of, and I'm going to word this very carefully, I've seen a number of Celtic pagan circles that by their own practice, and by the circles that I have witnessed and stood in with them, they take a mishmash of Catholic Mass, throw in a dash of Wicca, a hint of witchcraft, and a little bit of Druid, and they call it Celtic pagan. So, no, well, and yes. I mean, if you think about, to be pagan, you can be pagan. You can believe and you can call God and Goddess. You can believe and you can call on a particular goddess and or a particular god or multiple gods and goddesses without choosing a specific denomination of paganism, okay, which we call paths. For those of you just watching these broadcasts, a denomination of paganism is nothing in the world but a path. You know, I went down shamanism. Robert I think Hecate is Wicca. Of course, he may cut my head off for that, but I don't know for sure. So I would say, in short answer, being pagan at the core is pagan because it doesn't have a definitive path. You know, you haven't made your choice for that path. That's what I would think anyway.
Some people that have paganism that never choose a path, and like you said, they make the mixture. Some people are called spiritualists.
Say again? They're called what?
Spiritualists.
Oh, got it. Okay. Robert says, I can say she's not dark, though she can create the absence of light. Yeah, but that doesn't, well, I won't split that at them.
Oh, that's cute. Robert said, I gotta say, new meaning to the song of Preacher Man.
I'm sorry, you say what?
Robert posted, I've got to say, it's a new meaning to the song, Son of a Preacher Man.
Gotta love Robert. Is she in Haiti? Lee says, what would you call a mismatch? Well, when I was talking about the Celtic pagan circle, the mismatch, or the what I call the mix mash, or mix up, or mixer, if you will, they had a cross on the altar. They had a pentagram on the altar, and they called several of the, now I'm trying to remember, this has been 20 years ago, they called several of the Catholic saints, as well as quite a few of the pagan deities. It kind of made my head swim a little bit, you know, the energy. I'm not going to say it was bad, but it was who they are, okay? So when you're talking about a mismatch, right, you're talking about taking a great big world conglomeration of, well, what did Christians do? But they took all of their philosophy and belief systems from the pagans. You know, think about Bridget. You know, think about some of the other saints that the Catholics used that were brought over from the ancient pagans.
Well, paganism, with me, from what I've seen and, you know, read and all kinds of stuff, it's where people pick and choose what feels right to them and make their own in a way. It's not really a belief or anything. It's just a, like you said, a conglomeration of different forms and deities.
True. And Robert's post just a moment ago, you'll need to take that up with her. I can tell you good luck with that, because she's still sicker than a dog. So if you want to get a bite on that panther, you go right ahead and pick up the phone and call it. Been nice knowing you, because she's still sick, very, in fact. So, I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, Cindy says Joanne was one of the ladies that used to come to Circle a lot. She would call in several of the Celtic, the Catholic pantheon, as well as the pagan pantheon, and I always found that rather interesting. So,
just like Annette was, she was used a lot of the archangels in her path. but she was pagan, but she was Catholic pagan. Like you said, oxymoron.
Yeah, but you know, I think, and I apologize, I have to blow my nose because my sinuses are still going stupid from when I had the crud. Yeah, Robert's digging himself a hell of a hole. You know, you kind of have to think about it, and I neither, and this is another one of those I'm gonna, this is another one of those I'm gonna say kind of carefully here. I neither agree nor disagree with the improvisation, if that's the right word, the intermingling and the intermixture of Catholic saints, considering most of them originated from the pagan pantheon back in the day. So my thought is, and kind of like Clint said, you know, in short, I think paganism is what you make of it. But I believe that you first have to embrace that you're pagan before you can truly embrace a denomination or path of paganism. Does that make any sense to you guys?
Yes.
It's just like, well, whatever in town.
No, go ahead.
Okay. When I first came into the craft, I was practicing witchcraft, which was okay, but then I studied more and I saw more of the pagan aspect when I came over to you. It wasn't just about Celtic shaman, it was more of the pagan aspects where I learned the basic, where in the other witchcraft, it was just witchcraft. There was no paganism study in there. That's when it opened me up and figured, I understand paganism. Then I choose the Celtic shaman.
Right. Robert says, I've had my experiences with Hecate, her bringing forth Catholic saints in dreams. Don't ask. Yeah, I mean, you know, the interesting part that over the last 20 odd years that I've come to realize is religion, the word religion, has come more to mean the political aspects and the architecture of the belief system in which you follow. The word spiritualism, or being spiritual, has more come to what you believe. And as you can see through the discussion so far today, that we can wind ourselves up on this topic really good. Because for me, and the thing that helps me understand the pagan philosophy, is the simplicity of it. You know, we don't have a book that tells us if we don't live the way a preacher says to live, we're going to go to hell. I don't have a preacher pounding the gavel going, my way is the only way. And I've always been very, very careful back in the formation of House of Pagans and Open Pagan Church here on the internet. I've always been very careful not to say, no, you're wrong. I've tried to make Open Pagan Church about pagan. I try very hard not to bring in paths, denominations, if you will. I love for people to come in and talk about their paths. You know, if someone has a particular path, such as vampirism, Hecate, Wicca, witchcraft, Druid, whatever. You know, if someone wants to come in and have an interview over Discord where they've got the floor and they can talk about the foundation, the fundamentals, and the beliefs and the ideas of their particular path, hell yeah, I'm all for it. Bring it. Come on with it. I love learning from people. And I absolutely assure you that my way, my way is not the only way. Lee says, yeah, you know, I agree. It's a simple spiritual form called paganism. The belief in multiple ideologies. I think sitting and talking to leaders of Wiccan communities, I think sitting and talking and listening to them is awesome. I don't have to agree with someone's philosophy to break bread with them and have coffee or soda or whatever they drink.
Well, that's like me and my daughter. We went to Mass. Well, the minister saw my symbols and asked me about them. He said, that would be a good topic. One day, I'd like to sit down with you.
Well, I mean, see, here's the thing. In 2020, and this year of 2020, more and more people, and this has been kind of a movement over the last 20 years, but more and more people are going, Christianity's not the only thing that always was. And therein lies the problem, where mainstream society is losing control over the minions, because the minions are learning that there's not just one belief system. There's millions of them. Lee says it allows you to choose who and what you need to accomplish a particular task. Yes. You know, once you've, and I've got a video on YouTube that I did, oh my God, years ago, where it talks about building your spiritual foundation. You know, you have a foundation. Am I Christian? Am I pagan? Am I Jewish? Am I Muslim? What am I? Well, that's your foundation. And then you have your walls. Well, how am I going to live my life? You know, my walls are my path. I'm shaman. Okay, so that's my walls. Well, what is my pantheonic belief? What pantheon do I follow? You know, what is my belief system? What gods and goddesses do I follow? Well, that's my roof, right? So now I have my foundation, I have my walls, I have my roof, I have a house. I'm dried in. I can be warm in the winter and cool-ish in the summer. So now I have to build a home. And that home is the fundamental foundation in which we build our religion on, I think, our belief. And that's kind of the way I've looked at it, which has helped me understand the millions of different philosophies and ideologies in the world. I love to watch the History Channel when they do religious scholars around the world, where they talk about the different sects of the different religions. Most especially Egyptian. You know, you take a look at the hieroglyphs on the Egyptian caverns in where the burial grounds are of the Egyptians. The writings of the scrolls and the tablets from Egypt really does resemble a lot of things written in the Bible, I think, doesn't it? Or, well, that's my perception of it anyway. In, reading the Bible and looking at the different inscriptions from other, and you think about Mesopotamia, in societies pre-Mesopotamia. So if you have to ask, and what do you guys think about this? If you have to ask where paganism come from, it's always been. If you think about the definition of pagan, what it means today, right? Polytheistic belief systems. It's simply always been. Nikki, hi, you snuck in on us. Let's see. May want to listen to this. All right, I'll click on it later and see what it has to offer. Let's see.
No, I think she's telling Gabriel that she needs to listen to this video, what we're talking about.
Say what?
She's telling a friend of hers to need to listen to this video that we're doing right now.
Oh, right, got it. I just checked out his Facebook page. Okay. Happy belated. All right. Okay, cool. Rock on. Yeah. So I mean, and one of the number one things that Open Pagan Church has always been built on, the same thing that House of Pagans was built on in 2000, is that it's not about. Monitor move. It's not about my way at all. I meditate just like everybody else. When we come up with these topics, I meditate on them. This is the reason I tell people, if you want to hear about something, throw us a topic. We'll meditate on it and we'll talk on it, because I'm all for learning something new. I mean, I may be 58 years old, but I've still got a mind like a sponge. It doesn't hold as much as it used to, but I've still got a mind like a sponge, and I love to learn. So what else? I mean, I think we've about hammered this topic to death, but
right.
we need to be here. And from an older, aging member of the pagan community, we need to be here for the younger folk that are coming around, like Robert said, that are pulling their pagan philosophies from Sabrina the Witch. Okay, well, I mean, hey, if it makes them reach out and talk to somebody, yeah, Lee, we never stop learning. But and it's kind of like Charmed, back when Charmed was the thing in the 90s. If it makes somebody reach out to one of the elders in the pagan community that's been in it for a while, and say, what is it? I think that's one more educated person in the world. I think if somebody looks at me and says, I don't agree with what you're saying because you got my ear, you have my undivided attention. And if you look at me and say, you're wrong, you're just wrong, and that's all there is to it, I'm going to say, okay, well, that's a real intelligent standpoint. You're going to tell somebody they're wrong and not tell them why. You can't learn anything like that.
Like the good old days when we had circles, you could sit around and anybody could talk about it, and we'd go agree to disagree finally.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And if we had a place up here in North Texas for a circle, we would still do that. But we don't. So we have the internet when we have connectivity. Yep. Places some of those kids learn strictly from TV. That's why, that's why we have Open Pagan Church on Sunday. That's why we archive our videos on several websites. After Open Pagan Church and after Live with the Shaman, I spent about 2 hours compressing, editing video, and uploading it to multiple different channels, up to and including TikTok. Interesting little platform, TikTok.
Love it.
My thought is, if the Japanese want to learn from watching my videos, more power to them. I could care less. What have I got to hide? So, I think anybody in chat, looks like we've got quite a few people watching today. Anybody in chat have any closing statements for somebody that may be coming in and want to learn? Somebody that, helpful. If you want to post helpful web pages in here real quick, they'll be archived with the video. Absolutely wonderful. We love it. If you have words of wisdom to pagans that are coming around and wanting to learn and understand, post them. Absolutely. We want to hear from you. And if you have somebody that wants to be interviewed, I like to ask them some questions first, because the last thing I want to interview on here is a radical sociopath that the only thing they want to do is holler and scream. There are other forums for that, and Open Pagan Church is not one of them. So what else? That's about it, folks. That's about all I got, really. Bit of a reminder that when we get done here at 11 a.m. Central Time, we will be going over to Live with the Shaman. That's where we talk about shaman stuff. It is an adult channel. We're not politically correct, and we don't hold our tongue over there, so make sure you get that. Yeah, absolutely, Lee. I appreciate it. We appreciate all the kind words that you guys have, and kind ideas. Absolutely, send them on. We can use them. So yeah, paganism, it's just always been. And no matter who does what, or no matter who tries to commit hate crimes on whom, paganism will always be. It's a hell of a lot bigger than I am, and I'm okay with that. I'm just another voice in the woods, so to speak. So, okay, I'll send you on with it then. Thank you,
Good job,
everybody.
Don.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Those of you that popped in while we were broadcasting, thank you for being here. You have a great week, and I hope everybody is doing well and just feeling better if you're sick. We'll see you next time, right here on Open Pagan Church. Have a great week.